Greetings, viewers. Pastor David here, August 22nd, 2011. A breaking story coming out of Japan regarding the nuclear disaster at Fukushima. If you live in the United States, the news media is not telling you the truth. They are not bringing you the most urgent warnings. They're just not telling you the truth. Let me take you to the story that just broke. And I'm going to put the article below in the drop down for you. It's quite long, so I'm not going to read it in its entirety. There's also a YouTube video that's embedded for you to watch. Fukushima now radiating everyone unspeakable reality. Please, everyone, pay close attention. Pay close attention to this. CBS exposes extreme Fukushima radiation human rights violation while U.S. media remains silent. Australia's CBS exposed the unspeakable realities of the Japanese catastrophe in its 60 Minutes program Sunday night, during which leading nuclear scientist Dr. Mikio Kaku said radiation from Fukushima will impact all of humanity. The nuclear energy power industry violation of the right to health is apparent throughout the new Australian report. Now, this reporter, Liz Hayes, went in with some very flimsy protective clothing and Geiger counters, and they had to turn back. They had to stop. Let me bring you a little bit more. The Fukushima crisis is far from over. The crippled nuclear power plant is still leaking, and judging from Chernobyl, recovery will not be measured in years. Best known in Australia for reporting on 60 Minutes, Hayes is also known as a former co-host of Australia's Today, a position she held by popular demand for a decade. As Hayes traveled through now deserted areas of rubble that were once houses toward Fukushima, the silence was shattered by the beeping of deadly gamma radiation fallout 40 kilometers from the crippled nuclear power plant. The radiation was so strong they had to turn back. They couldn't go any further. Introducing Dr. Kaku on the Fukushima 60 Minutes program, Hayes said, "If you thought nuclear power had been averted in Japan, then meet physicist Mikio Kaku." Dr. Kaku told Hayes, "If you've been exposed to, hope I pronounce this right, cesium, because you're a nuclear power worker, even after you're long dead and buried, your gravesite will be radioactive. Your great-grandkids can come to your gravesite with a Geiger counter and see that great-granddaddy still has radiation at his gravesite." Unimaginable humanitarian catastrophe. Nuclear refugees. So far, over 135,000 Japanese people have been forced to evacuate, according to Hayes. Riding towards Fukushima through piles of rubble for stretches where homes once stood, documented in CBS program, Hayes said, "Streets and towns and villages are deserted. It's like a ghost town. And locals have been told their food and water is contaminated." Stopping along the way, the Geiger showed that a head of cabbage registered as much radiation as an X-ray. So every time you have a cabbage, you have an X-ray, said Hayes. Radiation refugees by the thousands wearing masks live in cardboard shelters, sleeping on the floors of public buildings, with a few possessions and little to no privacy, as Hayes saw firsthand and was documented by CBS. People have gone to a lot of trouble to make a cardboard box into their home. Many Japanese people fear their country will never fully recover. Do you think you'll ever be able to take food, water, and air you breathe for granted again? Says Hayes. Unknowingly, I don't think so. Dr. Kaku asserted about the Japanese people. These are guinea pigs. Absolute human guinea pigs. And it goes on and explains about Chernobyl and what the United States media is not telling you is everyone's radiated. This is a far worse disaster than you have ever been told. Not only the people of Japan are exposed to radiation, we all are, dear friends. We all are. And it's only going to get worse. It'll get worse. it won't get better. I'm going to put the link below for you. Leave me some comments. God bless.